Ahoy, crypto pirates! Glad to have you guys on for this day's morning show. Joining me, I've got some regularly attending faces, and it's great to see you, gentlemen. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, guys. Doing great.
I know it's a little earlier than usual for most, especially it's 5:30 here. At least Motley, it's
7:30.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 2 hours ahead, so it's 7:30 there. But you guys, it's probably right in the middle of your workday.
Yes. I'm spending my lunch break with you. So.
Oh,
Nice.
right on. Well, I'm glad to have you.
join you for morning coffee. It's about time I wake up as well. I think I'm in the same. I think I'm in the same time zone with Peter, right? UTC +1.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's UK time.
I'm in
plus
Poland.
one.
I'm in Poland, so Slovakia. I think it's
yes, of course.
Yeah.
We're in
What's up,
Poland, by the
Motley?
way.
What's up, guys?
By the sea, Tri-City. Tri-City by the sea. It's the Gdańsk. Sopot.
Oh, that's far away from me.
Quite a bit. Yeah. The other side of Poland.
Your guys' idea of far away is like nothing. It's like me and Motley's distance away from each other is probably 5 times the distance away from you guys.
That's possible, yeah.
It's kind of ironic.
Yeah, it really is ironic. We just don't look at it the same way here in America. We don't have as many borders, so to speak, and different. What would it be? Not just geographic regions, but just you guys just have so many different cultures between there.
Yeah, you got to enter a new country anytime you travel just not that far. For us, it would just be a couple states, and there's no barrier to entry or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just
right
easier.
Right now there are not many barriers.
The same.
It's quite the same.
Oh, that's good.
I wanted to say KNTX, like a lot of respect. 5:30 a.m. Damn. And like, usually, I'm still awake at that time every now and then, but I can't say that I've ever woken up that early.
Well, this is usually my workout time, so I'm sacrificing my workout time for you guys because the community means that much to me, guys.
That's what I'm doing right now, working out.
I had a feeling I could hear the weights being thrown around in the back there.
Yeah, if I start huffing puffing too much, just let me know.
I just got to throw a shout out to Richard Hart. He was one of the first people to comment. Peace, love,
I saw him in
and many
chat.
blessings. Yep, exactly right. So peace, love, and many blessings to you too, Richard. Thanks for showing up today, man. That's awesome. Always encourages me to keep going. Plus, we got such a great crew here that I'm glad that you guys were able to make it on. It's been pretty neat. I've gotten to know Peter and Barely pretty well over especially over the conference. We've gotten a lot of opportunity to talk. You and I Barely in the green room, and
a lot of green room time.
Yeah, a lot of green room time. That That
I
was
felt so lucky to be
Yes.
able to be there. Just hang out
Me
with
too.
the other people that were presenting, coming through the gate with Joe, checking audio and checking video.
he
That
did a
was
great
so
job of making
awesome.
sure everything was pre-checked beforehand. And what a great idea! I wish I would have thought of something like that, doing a pre-screening green room first before sending people on. I think that was
Freaking pros
just
setting
really
the
well
bar
Very
done.
higher and
smart.
higher for us. God damn it!
Especially when dealing with us.
And what
Yeah,
what
some
is
of us
going?
had to struggle to get a green screen up.
That was
We won't say who.
KNTX. That was my favorite part of Green Room. That was so
Mine
awesome.
too.
Well, I'm sure
Fantastic.
everyone will get to see it when Joe does his bloopers reel, because I have a feeling I'm going to make it on the bloopers reel.
And what is going on in green rooms? What is
Oh
this
my.
all teasing about? Like,
You missed
I
it,
know
Peter.
What happens
something,
in the
but I
green room stays in the
cannot
green
speak
room,
about
man.
it. Come again.
The green rooms was like another conference back there. Like it was just a good
Yeah.
time. I just went back there to keep Joe company, and then everyone was back there for hours and hours at a time.
Mm-hmm. Well, we ended up doing it kind of like an after stream, because everyone on here is kind of stuck around after the stream and talk to the other participants of the stream, and that's kind of like what the green room was for like 6 hours straight. It's pretty cool every
Yep.
night for 4
And then you
nights.
go on the social for another 2 or 3 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really cool to get to know Joe. I was on his show last night, and
I
it
saw
was
that.
yeah,
Good
it was great to get to know him on a little more personal level. He and I talked Friday night. Well, I guess it would have been more Saturday morning till like 4 a.m. And that guy's got a heck of a story. Great to have him as a Hexican, and just has a love for everyone in this community. So I'm glad that we're so lucky to have such great Hexicans. Dude, there is no other community. I'll put our community against any other community. And if we can't get you to love us, then we'll kick your ass. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us. We're Hexicans, man. We're Hexicans.
100%.
Hexo Nasco, there will be a behind the scenes green room edit. So Joe is going to cut that up and put some of the best moments of in the green room on his show. So, and shout out Carol Baskin.
The most embarrassing
There
moments.
is some
What's that,
some
Peter?
footage from green room. I don't know which day it was, but I have listened to it.
Okay, well I'll have to double check, because
I think
there's
it was
been a
like
lot
an
of
hour, like a short portion of green room content. I think I saw
Something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of
content.
Yeah, there's
I
a lot of
cannot
content
keep
that
up
came out
with
of
all the
like the
Hex
last week
content.
alone. Yeah.
Guys, what's with the dip? Who bought the dip? I have a few extra gray hairs in my head, like from yesterday. When I saw the price of Hex dipping, it aligned perfectly with my payday. I was like, oh yes, and then I saw fees. Oh no.
Oh no.
to find that window, because the Hex
Uh-huh.
price started going back up, the fees started slowly going down. Man, I had 2 failed transactions. It was a hard day. I felt almost like a trader, but I was trying to get in at a good price point.
Yeah.
You
was a lot
lucky man.
Yeah, it depends on what you're going in with. You're going in with $1 million. What's an $80 fee? But you go in, with
that's the problem. I'm not.
Yeah, you go in with $200, an $80 fee hurts your profitability quite a bit. Hey,
And
Henry.
here's what I wanted to.
All right.
What's up, Henry? That's
How's
what I
everyone?
wanted to talk to you about. What do you think about this concept? Because I was thinking this morning, what if smaller guys like going in with like $200 and $500, something like that, and fees might be even higher in the future, right? Before they solve that issue with them at some point. Would you participate if you are entering with a smaller amount? Would you like try to participate with someone else, like get a ETH address with someone you trust, of course, put that in and just
way.
Maybe if it was my mom.
It would have to be like inner
Someone you trust.
circle. Yeah.
Inner
but
circle.
That's
yeah.
few.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of guys that coming in with $100 or $200. It was impossible yesterday. It made no sense whatsoever.
You just need to buy and save it up. So just buy and don't stake straight away.
I try to do it on weekends, weekend evenings for me, so the fees are a little bit better. But
But you get
So you
some
guys
weekends
need to be.
surprise you, right? Some weekends I'm waiting for the weekend.
Yeah.
Shit, there are no low fees. God damn. And
You
my
guys
2
need
weeks
to
are
look
almost
for.
up.
You guys need to look for late Saturday night when Asia is in bed. I'm not kidding you. The fees are like half the price. In some cases, I can get 1/10. When I was setting up so I have multiple stake ladders. I have like 3 addresses with stake ladders out to 15 years. And when I was setting those up, I mean, when you're doing a monthly stake ladder, that's 180 stakes to go out 15 years. And so I would take, and you're doing that 3 times. I would literally wait till the next Saturday, and I would wait till I think it's between noon and 6 p.m. my time is in the middle of the night, and it would be like 1/8, 1/10 of the price. So if you're gonna look for an entrance, literally wait till Asia is asleep. Look at like the middle, like 1 o'clock in the morning Singapore time. That'll be helpful.
Gas wasn't even that bad later that evening. You would have had to buy in a little bit higher, like around 1 cent, but the gas prices went down significantly.
Yeah, that's when I finally managed to get in around slightly below 1 cent.
Yeah.
Looks into crypto and I were making each other FOMO buy all last night.
I love it.
I actually got I had like a large USDC position, and I was just waiting I was going to DCA in over the next like 10 days. And then him and I started talking, and next thing you know, we like emptied both our stacks into Hex last night.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Annette
We'll
is
see.
in the chat.
Yeah, we got another very popular Hexakin, Annette. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's good to have
Hi,
you here.
Peter McCormick is a fan of Annette. Then when it was maybe half a year ago, when everybody was flexing like their workout pictures, and Annette showed her back. Like, that's nice looking back.
She is a very beautiful woman. And so she could probably kick just about any one of the crypto Twitter's guys' asses, and I love it. I love that about Annette, and she's not afraid to get in their face about it. So cheers to you, Annette.
Yeah, and barely you are really lucky, because for the last maybe 4 or 5 months, I'm waiting for my paycheck to arrive, and it's either like day or 2 before or during the transition when the dips happen. Like, what is happening? Why is this happening to me?
I know that feeling. And you guys in the United States, you have no idea, because we get paid once per month in
Yes,
Europe.
yeah. That's,
In UK, I think it's on a weekly basis, but in the majority of Europe, it's on a monthly basis, and it's so
everywhere,
hard to
I think.
DCA. In UK
Everywhere.
as well, I think it's bi-weekly in UK. No,
monthly. Well, you can do. It depends on the occupation, but mostly monthly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I would wish so hard to get paid like on a weekly basis.
It would be easier to
as I got
DCA.
into, yeah, exactly.
I get paid once a month from my commissions. I get paid once a month from my carriers, so I understand, guys. I'm not like the normal W-2 employee in America that gets paid every other week. So
Well, what can you do, right?
Some dips you just have to let go and just like shit it to you.
you just gotta make sure when you do get paid, those amounts are much higher than what a W-2 employee makes, and then you can make it off of that salary. So
It's true.
Yeah, nice. Hi, Papa Boner.
Hey,
What's up, Papa?
B, what's
I
up?
still can't say that.
Barely and
Say that, Papa
Henry
B.
and Motley.
Papa B to me, man.
Oh, what? What's the matter? Who said that?
That was me. I still can't say your name, man. I just
Oh, come on.
Papa B to me.
Come on.
I think I will go with Papa B as well. But
Oh, you.
I'll wait for your rebranding.
Your European sensibilities are being offended. Is that it?
Sounds
might
very
be waiting a while.
wholesome.
You're like that badass, funny uncle that I never had. So
Oh.
thanks for being that guy.
Thanks for categorizing me in the uncle category, right? With RG3.
Well, I
Like,
didn't.
I'm old enough to be your father. Speaking of old,
Yeah,
are you in Colorado,
I am.
Kinetics?
Yes, I am.
What are you familiar with a town or a village or whatever you would call it called Black Hawk, Colorado?
Yeah, I visited at least once, sometimes twice a year. Absolutely.
That's
One of my
amazing.
favorite
I've got
places.
go ahead.
It's one of my favorite places in Colorado.
Is it really?
The Ameristar Casino. Yeah, that's one of my favorite places to hang out.
Okay, there's a lot of casinos there, and
Yes,
this
there
actually connects up with the gentleman at the top of the screen as well. I recently did a little bit of digging, and it looks like my great grandfather ran a dry goods store, and this is what it looks like right there. You can't probably see it on the see it right there.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
Now, yeah. Nowadays, it's actually this is him right there. But anyway, now it's a casino, which I'm sure you've enjoyed in Black Hawk. And that was in the year 1890, back when Colorado was just a territory.
Yep, absolutely. Oh my goodness, that's talk about talking about using the outhouse, man. There was no running water back then. That would have been
right.
That would have been a cold, miserable winter. I'm telling you, the because it's at such a high altitude up there. It's nestled at like the top of a 13,000 foot peak. It is cold up there. In the summertime, it's nice. It's like perfect temperature.
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
so
60 degrees, but in the wintertime.
Right, Crafty would know that the distinction between the temperature of the Ukraine, where I told you my grandsisters came from in Kiev, and coming to Black Hawk, Colorado, I wonder if the temperature was appealing to them. They're like, this is too hot here in New York. We got to get to the cold. So they move out to nowhere. I don't know. In this picture, what do you think, Kinetics? RG3 was maybe 15, 16 years old?
No, I think back then he was driving the wagon to take all the kids to school. I think he was old enough to at least take the kids to school.
Right on. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite places in Colorado. It's beautiful up there in Black Hawk, Carbon, some of those areas around there. It's if you guys want true woods, like deep black woods and high elevations and views for days. I mean, you can see the whole valley that overlooks Denver from up there. It's not far from Denver.
Well, let me get this straight, Kinetics. You'll say Black Hawk, but you won't say Papa Boner?
I'm pretty sure I said hawk.
Oh, okay. Checking it out. Black Hawk.
Make that distinction. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it. Thank you, gentlemen. Sorry about the interruption. Now on to the previously broadcasted. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually do a lot of our conferences up there because they've got a beautiful conference center, and then there's obviously all of us have social hour, kind of like hanging out in the green room. After you get done with the stream, we go downstairs and throw some craps. So after we just got all of our, usually when we have our conferences there, we're also getting profit sharing and bonus checks too. So some of them don't make it out of that casino. Yeah, good times, man. Good times. That's cool. It's such a small world. I'm sure with that 6 degrees of separation, we could all probably find something that we have in common, or some familial connection to the places that every one of us live. So I don't know about anyone in Europe though. My family left Europe right after we were actually. So we're from a little town in Germany called Wolfersheim. And most people don't even know where that. It's probably not even an actual town anymore. And it was about 90 miles north of the French border. And my great grandfather was a doctor in Napoleon's army. And when he was exiled, we weren't really invited to stay. So we came to America and ended up in Massachusetts. And then from there, so the family split, and half of them went to Pennsylvania, and the other ones took a bunch of the land grab in Oklahoma.
It exists actually. I just googled it, and it's near Frankfurt. Frankfurt.
Yes. Yes, I didn't know if it was still around.
It's around, yeah. It was not totally bombed down during
Yeah.
World War II.
Right. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
It looks like a small town.
Oh, I believe it. Even back when they came from there, it was a small town.
Well, there is a lake nearby. Looks good. You
All
should
right.
visit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. With my hex gains, I'm gonna have to go check out
Need to get
Family Tree.
tickets to Europe, and it'll be a chance for us to meet up in real life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Nice.
You know about those taxes in Germany, the crypto taxes. You just hold for 1
Just
year and
hold
pay zero.
That's fantastic. I wish that were the way it worked here. I have a feeling my tax gains are going to start to get, my taxes on my gains are about to get really expensive here in America.
But it's only after you realize those gains, right?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
well, wait, isn't it the taxable event, the actual ownership or control over the currency or the asset? Right now, it's considered property in some states. So that means theoretically you're supposed to be paying property taxes on it, and they haven't hammered that out either. So Wyoming's the only state that calls it currency. Is that right, KNTX, or does anybody else know? Motley?
As far as I know, to this point, in fact, my wife's family is in Wyoming, which probably just doxed me because there's like 10 people that live in Wyoming. So, but there's not a lot of people that live there. But my wife's parents live in Wyoming, and so we're actually thinking about moving there. And part of the reason is because then I don't have to pay the 4.1% Colorado income tax.
Right on.
So we're thinking there half the time and Puerto Rico the other half of the time, so we don't have to pay any federal income tax either.
Doesn't Wyoming have good crypto laws too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why
the best,
Kraken
I think.
just opened their bank there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wyoming is probably the most pro-liberty state in the union.
Yeah.
And they're arguably the reddest state as well. There's just not a lot of people there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's just not a lot.
Yeah, you just don't live on the east side of the state, guys. If you guys ever go to Wyoming, if you don't want to be blown away in a tornado, don't be on the east side. The west side where the mountains are at is where you want to be. Matthew worked the toll booth in Galilee. Now that is one thing that's funny about Wyoming, like the counties are named after biblical places in the Bible. So it's funny. So when he says the toll booth in Galilee, I believe it. And there's probably a place in Wyoming called Galilee. Gosh, Alan played for Wyoming. Go Bills, go! All right, lots of Taxman songs. There sure are. Yeah, I agree. Taxes are definitely going to be fun going forward. I'm serious about this moving to Puerto Rico. Just trying to convince my wife of it. She's like, I don't want to be away from my family for 6 months. I'm like, you don't even live anywhere near them right now. Like,
so gentlemen, what does Hex have to be priced at for everybody to consider relocating to a country other than the country of their origin? Let's take a census here, a consensus.
About
Hex at $1. You can go
$1?
Yeah.
Hex at $1.
For me, it's not a price point.
Doxing ourselves.
Like I need to convince my wife to move to Portugal. That's why I'm planning like a vacation this year, and then maybe it will get closer to that. But I can do my job from anywhere. I'm like a mobile kind of interpreter, so
that's great.
I can move tomorrow. I can go in if there is internet. I can survive there. But yeah, why
Portugal? There's no tax at all, is there? No crypto tax at all in Portugal.
At least currently, we'll see how it goes. But I hope I will get there.
Well, I don't want to give up my U.S. citizenship. That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of advantages to it, but I don't want to pay taxes either. So there's an option for us. And I'm just going to have to join Funding Jim down there in Puerto Rico.
You have a lot less stress because yeah, you should report as best you can. It's your, you know, and your tax professional should prepare it as best they can. But if you are U.S. and you do go through the process of being Puerto Rican, your stress level drops because every little micro transaction of conversion of ETH into something else and something else back into Hex and so forth. Reasonable is okay. Diligent is necessary in every other state or place that you live. But reasonable is okay because you have sovereign protection according to the rules of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I just don't think my wife understands yet just how big this is going to be. And that's the funny thing is because I showed her.
Wait. Even if she doesn't think that it's big, even if it has nothing to do with crypto, even if it has zero, you said, hey, I don't believe in that crypto stuff. I'm not going to do it. There's no better place for a U.S. citizen to run anything that they make money from a computer than Puerto Rico. There's no other place. If you're in New York and you say, hey, I'm here because there's networking opportunity, I'm here because there's nightlife and the reason to pay a premium to live in New York City, you know, it's pirate capitalism. If you say I'm going to live in Silicon Valley because I might rub shoulders with somebody and find opportunity, that's not that world anymore. That's not that world in 2020 going forward. That world is a decentralizing world. So you see people, like you said, as far as people have commented before, real estate prices in Texas and Tennessee and places like that are on the rise. They are spiking up. And it is because there is a migration to where people are taking capital, they're relocating, they're working from a computer, they're raising their kids and such in suburban places that they've heard of, but they said, hey, I need to be proximal. I need to be close to my opportunity. That's not necessarily true in this because of the catalyst of COVID and whatever. So yeah, if you're gonna live anywhere and you're gonna make your money because you're a lawyer and you're not gonna specialize in Puerto Rico law, you're basically gonna have international law. You're gonna have you're gonna be a CPA. You're gonna have clients. You're gonna work through a website to basically get your clients and have teleconferencing with them. You're gonna do video editing. You're going to sell insurance. You're gonna sell products, e-commerce of any sort. You're gonna do a drop shipping company. Anything basically will qualify because you are bringing revenue to the island that the island would not have otherwise. You would be in Wyoming or whatever, right? So they are very liberal in that fashion. And then if you're going to generate income from real estate, like a lot of people do, rental portfolios and such like that, you probably don't have a better opportunity than in Puerto Rico as well to generate income from Puerto Rico because they are trying to compete with Dominican Republic. They're competing with Bahamas and Nassau, and you know, if Cuba ever opens up or whatever, because over the past 40 years, Puerto Rico has focused on corporate tax reasons for companies to move their need for labor to Puerto Rico. So most of the healthcare industry, you know, basically every IV that you've gotten in the United States, if you went to the emergency room or anything and you have a bag of fluids put into you, that came from Puerto Rico. That came from Baxter. So there's a lot of stuff that you don't even realize came from Puerto Rico until fairly recently. And since 2012, when those corporations basically said even though we're saving a lot on tax, we have a higher labor cost in Puerto Rico than India, or than moving our call center to India or our medical facilities to Canada. So as in a decentralizing, they say, okay, labor is cheaper in these other places and it's not worth it for the tax reasons. So then Puerto Rico opened up to say individuals, not just companies. And individuals can benefit. Individuals that form their own company, that's a sole member kind of company, they benefit. I've moved people that are YouTube celebrities and they relocate their residential life here, but they are travelers and they do their YouTube content. And there's no better place for a digital life forward as far as a tax structure for a U.S. citizen that has to pay taxes than Puerto Rico.
Since we don't have U.S. citizens in 3 of the boxes, gentlemen, I'd be interested to hear about what's going on in your neck of the woods as far as Hex goes and the proliferation of Hex and the propagation of the stuff. What are you guys hearing?
Previous question about the price point, because I think only Henry mentioned that $1. All right.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you guys.
Peter didn't get a chance to pitch in. Come on, Peter.
I would relocate at 10 cents, like probably because of tax reasons. Here in Slovakia, if you want to do it the right way,
And where to?
to Germany.
Sorry. To Germany. Okay.
Yeah, I have few friends there, so maybe they could help out. But yeah, if you want to do it the right way, there is pretty high tax on cryptocurrencies, on gains for cryptocurrencies. So yeah, but until I realize some gains that are, I don't know, in this bracket, that's I don't know, maybe it's few years away, maybe it's few months away. So let's see.
But I hope the prices we are all naming, those are like bottoms, right? Because you can reach 2 cents, you can reach 10 cents and go back down.
Easy.
Yeah, look at the liquidity.
You need to wait for the bottom. You don't want to move to Germany and in 2 weeks looking for a flight back to Slovakia, right? Because it's
well, bad luck.
And
But,
what about
I
you?
heard earlier.
I know you are planning to also to relocate, right? What is your price point? But you asked the question, and what is your price point?
Oh, mine would be $1.
Yeah. Dollar.
Yeah,
as
$1.
well.
But I'm already in Japan. I guess to
but
relocate
planning
a second time.
You mentioned,
Yeah.
I think you mentioned you're planning to relocate from Japan to Haiti, or am I
No,
missing something?
I've got a place in Hawaii.
Hawaii, sorry, Hawaii.
I'd like to live there, but the taxes are screwed up. But I'm incorporated in Texas, so I don't have any problem with the taxes in Texas and Texas and taxes. That's difficult to say, but anyway, that's interesting. But also Portugal sounds a lot of fun. I got friends in Spain, and Portugal is a beautiful place. It's on the rise in Europe, right? Am I right, guys? Sounds like a really nice place. And then, of course, you got Funding Jim in Puerto Rico. It sounds like a decent place too, as long as it's not a massive storm and we have people like throwing toilet paper rolls to us or something like that. I don't want that in my life. But I think Portugal.
I mean, it's kind of fun. I mean, you know, other than the misery and the no water and no electricity, it's kind of interesting.
The good news about those tropical storms and hurricanes is you usually have about a week to get out of the way. So it's not like it just hits like a tornado and takes the whole trailer park with you.
Right. And Henry, what you said? You said $1 first. What's your plan?
I think just like in the UK, I think you get 12,000 tax-free, £12,000 before you have to pay capital gains, and depending on your income, you either pay 10 or 20%. So, kind of, it's not too bad. But I mean, I was working out our tax years in April. But I was starting to work mine out, and obviously every transaction you do is a taxable transaction from Ethereum to Hex, and I mean, I've done like 6,000 transactions. I think. So, you know, it's a bit of a nightmare. Luckily, there's software out there. I think Coinly I use, I don't know how good it is, but it seems to have worked it out for me. But
okay, so we are moving.
This point here,
we are moving between July and September.
Yeah, I'll plan that.
Every one of us.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it looks like between July and September. You know, I might move come May. From the look of this chart, this is great. Hey, thanks for posting that. Someone said, look at Hex Crypto's Twitter, and then Funding Jim went ahead and dropped me the link so I could pull it up real quick. But I like that random line. That random line is beautiful.
Looks into Crypto has a very good chart analysis as well. I put out on Twitter, so check it out.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I really like Wasabi. I really like what he does.
We're actually streaming tonight, so you guys should all stop by.
Yeah, I'll have to try to sneak in there.
I'm interviewing. I have a one-on-one with Big Pep tonight.
Nice.
I saw the
so much content.
Yeah.
That's
So you guys had said something before I came into the room. Also, you need to keep in mind there are solutions to the things that people are bitching about. Honestly, so one of the solutions when people say, if it's getting into Hex and buying into Hex and you have your gas price, okay, yeah, maybe it takes a certain percentage of what you would have bought. You want to buy $100 worth, you spend $20-30 in transactions so that you can get net $70 worth in your wallet. Okay, and then you're gonna stake it or whatever. You're gonna have a cost on that. So your entrance cost can be your entrance cost. The calculations for your exit cost whenever you have in stake, and that has more calculation because it's got to thread through the entire contract and all the events that happen from the time of your origin to the time of your exit. Okay, it's going to have more calculation, more computer power, whatever it takes when it's the Ethereum network. You guys do realize, again, Motley had said a truth. You can go in with someone else, right? Somebody else, you're going to work with somebody else, you're going to be a family member with somebody else, you're going to be like the representative of your little cadre of people you care about, and they're going to throw money into a common pool that you're going to manage. As long as you work all those things out, I would recommend that you put it in writing. I don't recommend that you do anything verbal, even if it's family. And a text message doesn't count as writing. I mean, sit down with them and say, hey, you're going to give me this money. I'm going to do this thing. We're going to exit on this date. Let's do it just like we would do anything else in our family organization. That cuts your gas cost. Because you're sharing transaction across the entry and the exit across the pool, right? However, and I don't necessarily recommend this either, but it is possible. Kyle and other people that build smart contracts, when we had the adoption amplifier and we had that whole phase, in the background, that was going the whole time, that there was a dollar cost averaging smart contract. You could put money in, which is ETH, at the beginning of the AA, and on a daily basis, I think it was a daily basis, it had an entry, it had a daily dollar costed entry, and everybody, because of the contract, it automatically sent out to those people that were participants. So they didn't have to know each other. They were just addresses. And one entry would be the one address entering the contract for AA is the center point. But all of the distributed legs got their equal share, and just like the pool share and things like that. So they're smart. If you're really going to participate, and you're going to say, hey, I think I'm going to throw 10 grand at this thing. And I think I know 4 or 5 other people that over the coming year, they're going to throw 10 grand in it, or 5 grand, or something that's more than, something like you would like, hey, I really would like that to go further, right? Yeah. If you're like $50, $70, it's not gonna be worth it really, because you need to get hundreds of people together to write a smart contract with someone that can do it professionally, right? Like Kyle, I wouldn't say that he's going to volunteer. He shouldn't volunteer, but he did create something for the AA that a lot of people did participate in, that went through the DCA route. And at the end of the 1 year phase is when I think it all distributed out or whatever. You have to ask the details. What I'm saying is the high cost, what is your percentage on your exit, right? If you have a 5-year horizon on your stake and you get out 5 years, like the mean or the average of the participants, how many more hex are you going to have? What's the gas price then? Is it 1/10 of your gain? Is it 1/100th of your gain? What was the cost of your profit? Basically, you can look at your overhead in that manner. And who knows other than a smart contract, if the other participants are going to be around. Your family member, yeah, you can work things out. Someone else wants to get out, maybe you buy out their position, whatever it is. You can work all those sort of things out because that's human relationships. But if you're going to code something, you as a pool of 4 or 5 people, like for example, there's 36 people or something, 37 or whatever RG has it limited at. That's the Discourse Syndicate people. They could sponsor a contract, and that contract can distribute out, and they can all have a shared percentage cost of transaction in, transaction out, and exit point, and say, we're going to set a 1-year exit point or a 5-year exit point. You could do those things. Just get together your group of people, talk to people that actually know, that are known, that are public, not anonymous faces in the internet that say, I'll write a smart contract for you. Find people, because there's people inside the community that do these things. Sponsor them, pay for their service, and get a contract written. If you're so concerned, because again, if you have, let's say it was $80 was the high example. Let's say it was $40 to get in, get out, whatever the round trip cost would be. 10 people, that's $400. 100 people, that's $4,000 in transaction cost, right? Figure it out. You know, you can pull people together and you can have them pseudo anonymous, and that you say there's 50 people in this group, there's 50 addresses. I don't know that yours is yours or mine's mine or whatever, but there's 50 of us. If it's decentralized enough and you have that agreement between each other, sponsor someone to write a contract and you'll have a cheaper transaction. You'll have more hex in that pool that distributes to you.
Yeah, but the only problem I see with that is if you're so broke that the fees are killing you anyway to get in, then you better have a lot of time. If you don't have money, you better have a lot of time to create this contract to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, so Kyle did it, but Kyle, of course, was participating. That was his plan, was to DCA. He also, he did a lot of stuff for the community that people just don't realize what he did.
A lot.
And that was from day one too. Day one of the AA. So obviously way cheaper than it is now.
Yeah. So I don't know if everybody knows, but he did the same thing with EOS. He had a pool of people. A lot of people wanted to participate in the EOS launch the year before it became its own blockchain or whatever, when it was going its whole year-long launch. But basically, he did the same thing for Hex, that other people had said, hey, we want to do this EOS thing. And they solicited his help. He looked at the contract. He wrote a smart contract code that would DCA. And part where people are trying to time the goodbye day on EOS launch or their ICO, their security that they paid a fine for being a security, right? So there's all kinds of stuff in 2017, but he actually wrote a contract, and that contract had participants, and everybody got distributed in a fair way, and everybody made money, right? They all made money. So these things exist. There's a whole reason we have smart contracts that supposedly are going to replace lawyers. But at least in code, this is very possible. You could do it now.
Yes.
Yeah, what I was thinking, there could be just a blueprint of smart contract, because that smart contract for purchasing Hex or because I'm concerned about the purchase price for smaller guys, because it has to do with the adoption and it has to do with promotion. Because here in Europe, at least in my circle, I don't have a lot of guys who can throw just thousands and thousands of dollars and stake it. And so,
well, and again, not to speak too much to delayed gratification, kind of the purpose of Hex, but the same people that complain about gas prices pay $8 for Starbucks, and they pay, they have a cigarette smoking habit, and they're doing a lot of things that are just because you want to. When you want something, you justify and you make reason why it's necessary to do that thing you want. And when you don't, you're on the gray zone, you kind of complain about stuff. So, I mean, I understand people want to participate. They say, oh my gosh, so much of it goes away. Okay, save up, do a month.
So along that principle, my wealthiest clients are never the ones I hear from. It's always the broke ones that have all the problems that I got to spend all my time with.
Yeah.
So
100%. It's the same way when I'm recruiting for the Navy. It's the applicants that have the most problems, medical, legal, whatever. They're the ones that hit you up 24/7. It's the nice, clean, no medical, no legal issues, but then they're much harder to sell because they have more options, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But imagine this. There is a dip happening, right? And there is a lobby. There is a small window lobby.
Buy more.
There's a small window lobby. I enter this lobby because I know I want to get that on that dip, right? But others can join in, and the contract is just a blueprint of the contract. It does the same thing as the AA lobby. Everyone who goes in at the set time, at the chosen time, it makes the swap, makes the purchase on Uniswap, and then it redistributes automatically to those addresses the hex we purchased. And we just go into the Telegram group. We go, okay, I'm going in. The dip is happening. Who is in with me? And then if people want, they'll throw some ETH in there because they know the contract itself, the blueprint has been audited and it is safe. And some developer is behind this, right? But we are just reusing the same, creating those small window, 15 minutes, half an hour lobbies, right? To get in, get that dip and optimize the cost. Because if the cost of transaction on Uniswap is $100, I think people would use that. Honestly,
Sounds like a good idea.
So before I say the name of the contract, I probably shouldn't even say the name of the contract because again, it is beta, but it is a limit order contract. I used it quite a bit. Maybe I put like 40 grand through it total over the course of a year. But again, if people are going to say that the transaction cost, the gas cost is going to, prevent them from making a buy at all because it's a percentage, right? It's 20% of their buy. They say it's $100 and it costs them $20 to get in or whatever, or it's $100 and it costs them $30 in gas to get coin or whatever it is, right? Why not go into these Hex limit order contract and just set the price below what the price is enough to where it justifies it for you? Okay. So if the price of Hex has to, on a particular day, dip down 10% for it to justify your purchase price of having a transaction cost of $20 or $30 out of your 100, then just set the limit just underneath what you think and what makes reasonable sense to you to say, hey, I'm not going to buy now because the transaction cost and gas is going to eat too much of my stake or my buy. Okay, set the price lower in a limit order. And then when that executes, you got a good deal that justifies equal same price that you would have bought with gas.
Do you have to pay fee to just create that limit order for it to sit there and wait for that price?
Yeah,
do you have
just be patient.
I know, but do you have to
set a limit order? 5% under the current price or 10% under the current price, and then when it executes, you got a price that's equivalent to spot. I
understand that part, but do you have to create that limit order? Do you have to pay the fee and lock in that ETH, correct?
You're putting ETH into an escrow, basically.
Yeah,
it's a smart contract escrow, and then you can pull back out whenever you want to.
You can cancel that limit order.
Away from you. Hey, you got to justify. Am I trying to get a deal because I'm going to save on gas? Am I trying to get a deal because the price right now is where it's at and it might escape me? Am I going to overpay because I bought on a high day, right? Well, if you bought on a high day and you're hold for a long time, it doesn't really matter. So it's all the things that people work through their mind about why they will or they won't do anything. Like you're going to ask a girl, like again, not to too much beat up people, but people come up with excuses that make no sense whatsoever all the time on everything that they do. You ever ask a girl out and she says she's got to wash her hair? That means she doesn't want to see you. Nope. She doesn't want to go out with you, right? You got to wash her hair, right? So you say, someone else says, hey man, I mean, again, they're usually not this much of an asshole, but hey man, I'm moving on Saturday. Can you come help me? Oh man, I got to cut the yard, or I got to do my nails, or mom was coughing last week or whatever. When you don't want to do something, any excuse is good enough. It doesn't really matter. Any excuse is good enough for you not to do that thing.
I mean, I know people that also don't have a lot of money to spend for it. Like they want to buy, but I don't know, few $100, and they just either they accept the fee or they just wait for a better state of the network. So the fees are
hopefully Staker will fix that though. So especially if you can transaction hex to hex, so people just won't notice the fee.
That's true.
So you'll probably get a lot of people buying smaller amounts. But the 10x, if you put $200 in today, and 10x is $2,000.
Which is okay. A couple $100 now. If we do another 100x, I don't think they're going to be disappointed about that.
Nobody will be disappointed. My friends did, I don't know, somewhere between 2 and 4x, and like they love it.
Yeah.
And Johnny argues this all the time, right? Like we argue over like tenths of a cent on entry point with Hex. Like right now, like we're pretty much at the new price floor. Like it's pretty much been tested over and over and over again. So we're arguing like, oh, you got under a 10 cent cheaper, what have you. If the gas fees are that much of a mental block, wait for them to be cheaper if it makes you feel better about going in. But at the end of the day, Hex is going to give you the tools And if you're not being able to buy as much as you want to, do what Hex was designed to do, leverage your time in conjunction with your lower buy, and then you can make just as much, probably more, with price appreciation and interest over time if you leverage longer than them. So you just got to utilize the tools you're given. And if your financial situation handicaps you a little bit, then you're going to have to leverage more time than the other guy. And that's just what it's going to come down to.
So this is always so obvious in real estate. It's so obvious all the time in real estate, because who are you paying? You're paying a broker. How much are you paying them? Between 3 to 5% of the closing of the house. $100,000 house costs you 3 to 5%. So that's $5,000, right? You bought it retail. You set the market because everybody else could have bought that house, but you did. You financed. Okay. What was your finance cost? Right? Well, whatever the APR is, 30-year, 15-year, 10-year, whatever. So you justify all the time, whether it's commercial and you're going to buy to rent out and make an income off of, or whether it's personal and you say, hey, this is the neighborhood and the school district and the things we want to raise our family in, or whatever it might be. But we justify it all the time, where to get in is 6 to 7% between all the closing, escrow, all the registration with your local municipality and title insurance and things like that, all that stuff, right? So you have an entrance cost. You rolled off the parking lot with that brand new car, and it suddenly is worth less because you had a transaction cost to even acquire it. Same sort of thing on your exit when you're going to sell later. You hope the price will go up. You hope the equity will rise. That simply is because, even interest rates and things like that when it comes to housing or to real estate, the price going up is so that you can sell. I mean, that's why the price goes up most of the time in real estate. Tools, lower cost, things like that, interest rates. It is so people can exit. It's basically so they can exit at a nominal profit. They don't realize the inflation and things like that sometimes. They say, hey, I bought for this. I made 10% on my money, although it took 2 years or whatever it might, 5% per year. But they don't realize that, inflation changed that actual cash on cash return. So
yeah, we were talking about buying Hex. Is that correct? We never talked about, like you're saying, Gary, we're talking about exiting. I'm interested in the staking and unstaking costs. Those gas
So
fees.
what I was saying is, in a pool contract, you set an exit date.
Yeah, but Steph was saying in the staker app.
You probably don't even have the flexibility of EES.
Auto. Yeah. Look, Steph was saying he was going to develop something that was going to auto aggregate everybody's stakes and unstakes. So that's coming down the pike. Doesn't that solve our problem?
That plus ZK that lower gas price in general that supposedly is happening. There's all kinds of things. All I'm trying to say is justification is right now. The justification is this conversation, gas price. In 6 months, somebody else there'll be a pool of people that participate inside of Telegram or Twitter or whatever. They'll say the same thing, but it'll be a different reason why they don't do something, right? So, my boss is making me do this thing. Okay, well, quit. I don't like being in the military. My contract's can be up in 2 months. Okay, get out. And then I find people that spend 20 years bitching, but they keep renewing. So like in the service, Motley has this example. I know this example.
100%.
People that come in for a 2-year or 4-year contract, they bitch about it the whole time. They're like, hey, having to do what other people are telling me. And when the window comes where they can exit, they don't do it because their bitching wasn't real. It wasn't truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and back to the limit orders. I think I heard someone talking about, I don't know what DEX it was, but if you set a limit order, I don't remember exactly, but the swap, the fee for the swap will be paid by the taker, or am I remembering something incorrect?
I don't remember the transaction. The smart contract is not. I don't think it's percentage based. I don't remember it ever being. I think
we're talking about.
It ends up being it's a percentage of what you put in.
Use your discretion. No, this is not financial advice. Know that this contract's still in beta. You could lose it all. So, and it's Pine.finance is the one where you set the limit orders. Now, that's not what you're talking about, Peter, is some of the centralized DEXs, or not DEXs, but exchanges will, when you set a limit order, If you're the market maker, if you're the one that starts the trade, you don't pay a fee on some exchanges. But I try to
But-
stay away from those altogether.
Wasn't there?
Uh,
So it used to be called
Shapeshift.
Uniswap X,
Did,
but it
did anyone
okay.
changed its name into Bind Finance.
Okay.
But
Can
again,
someone
it's
tell me
beta.
how Shapeshift works?
I remember
Because
like 3 or
someone
4
mentioned
months
they
into it,
added
I stayed away from it
Hexologist.
altogether. I
Keep talking over
participated.
you, barely. What was that? I'm sorry, man. We keep talking over you. Say that again.
So I remember that I started like a few months. Who's going?
Barely, not Gary.
I can't hear.
All right.
Barely.
Sorry.
I don't even hear it.
It's all right.
I'm just very interested about that Shapeshift thing. You mentioned, on Discourse Syndicate, I think, who was it, Dollar Cost Crypto or someone else, that they actually added Hex to Shapeshift. And how does that work? Does that make it easier for us to like get into Hex or not at all?
Well, they're KYC now, aren't they? Can anyone? I know that I think they finally
Haven't used it.
But I used to have the Exodus wallet, and I used to be able to swap pretty seamlessly. Now it's pretty expensive on the fee side, but pretty seamlessly from Bitcoin into Ethereum into Monero, whatever the wallet supported at the time. But I think they've gone KYC since then. So it's another way to get Hex, but it's not the anonymous trading platform it used to be.
Well, the benefit of it is you're going across other blockchains. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the benefit. You're outside of the ERC20 or the Ethereum network coins. So if you know people that are in EOS or Cardano or something like that, and they want to move across, then Shapeshift is a good tool for it. But like you said, it's KYC, and they had a purge when they went to KYC. It was because the governments were saying that you have to, and if you want to keep your bank account, right? So it's the same sort of thing. They're centralized enough to where they care about going back into fiat and paying employees and running a business. So they have to KYC. And that meant also that the things that were pretty obviously a security got deleted from Shapeshift. So it was very telling that they removed things like Ripple and things like that came off, even recently as far as Ripple, but more further back, the other coins had come off because they were securities. And adding Hex is just another testimony that from a company that has concern about keeping their bank account open. They add Hex. That's another testament that it's not a security. So there's a lot about the Shapeshift thing people haven't commented about enough.
So Flames, that's good information. I'm going to have to look into that more. I want to do some more research before I say it's law. But if they 6 days ago got rid of KYC, then that is definitely a viable way for you guys who have other crypto bags to get into Hex. So because it goes crypto to crypto across blockchains, and obviously there's an aggregator and keys got to be given up, and it's got to be allowed through whatever contract they're using to make it happen. But
Be careful.
Yes, be very careful. If you're going to do it, test it with small amounts first. Maybe you do multiple transactions for small amounts instead of one large amount. Just use your common sense and use your discretion when using a centralized entity like that. But if you need to get from one coin to another and you don't want it to go on Binance, because Binance doesn't have Hex, but you've got all the other coins, but if Shapeshift will support the coins that you have that you want to get out of, that you're slowly dying to nothing over an oblivion, then it might be the time to switch it into Hex now that Shapeshift offers it. So it is nice that there's one more on-ramp within crypto to get to swap your coins to Hex. And I think that's a great point that Gary just made, that obviously Shapeshift doesn't feel that Hex is a security, and we all know here on this stream know that it's not. I mean, when you fail all 4 legs of the Howey test, there's no way you could be a security.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
I'd like to see Richard and Eric. I don't think they've ever had like friction. They've been in the same circle for a long time. I've never seen a recording of them actually talking directly, but I know Eric and Veer get along reasonably, and it would be nice to see a chat between Richard and Eric Voorhees.
Yep, I agree. Well, hey guys, that's my timer. We have been streaming for an hour and 5 minutes, and now I gotta wake some kids up for school. So
Nice.
I really
Nicely done.
appreciate meeting up with all you guys, and any of you guys that are on right now. It won't be as early next time, but if any of you guys are interested, yeah, be happy to have you on Thursday in 2 more days. So I appreciate everyone that joined us in the chats. Thank you guys for joining us. It looks like we had a pretty good turnout. And man, these are fun streams. I appreciate you guys joining. The rest of
Thank
you
you, KNTX, for doing it.
Yep, absolutely. Until we see you guys again. Oh, check out Motley and Funding Jim. They
Looks
have
into crypto.
shows tonight. Yep. So Motley and Look Into Crypto and Funding Jim will be looks like
Big
interviewing Big Pep, and Papa Boehner will just be in everything and and
Papa Boehner from Blackhawk.
that's right. Hey,
That's right.
I will see the rest of you guys later, and you guys have a good day.